guys, so you can kind of see Saint. Right there, you can see his eyes. Other dogs are being taken out. This is a baby monitor, so there's no delay, or if there is, it's like a second. And he can hear other dogs being taken out. And he's up, so he's sitting. The reason he holds his head like that is because he is peering towards where the door is. Even though I've got him on the other side of the bed, which is right here, the door's like over here. And I've had to set up a block that extends out because he cranes so hard to see towards the door. And so anyway, that's just why he's looking in that direction. Even though he can't see, he tries. He does look at the camera because I'd speak to him through it. So he does know that. So if I'm not gonna speak through the camera, what I do first is we have our T for some dogs, not all dogs, but for some dogs on our e-collars, our T is set to vibration. So I'm just gonna tap vibration. That's always his like warning to lay down. But sometimes, especially when he knows we're doing potties, he knows he's coming out. See, he's too amped up. He did a turn and usually he would lay down, but he's too excited. So I'm gonna give him a second. He's not whining or crying. I'm just gonna give him a second. Look at him, he knows. Stinker. Okay, I'm gonna go to an 8. I'm just gonna hold down. 1, 2, 3. See, his head went down, but he's not committing. He likes to do this thing where he turns his head, but he knows, he definitely knows. There we go, off the button. Stinker. He's being pushy, but he saw his family today. So that could be why. But he will do that sometimes. We do this thing when we're teaching them to settle down where we do this low level pressure. And when they acknowledge they feel it, we go off the button and then eventually they do settle. I almost feel like sometimes he's learned if he just moves his head around, he can turn it off. He can like turn the pressure off. So in his final week with us, I have been challenging him more. And just like you saw there, that was me challenging him more. Whereas in the beginning, I would hold down, even though he did know down, but he didn't know it with me in another room. I would go on the other side of the door, hold down for like 2, 3, 4 seconds, and he would do that head toss thing, and then I'd come in and tell him down. And that's how I made the association. I can do it through the speaker now too, to help him out as well. Oh, very excited. You can hear the tail. So you can kind of see what I've got set up here. That extends out a little further. Otherwise, he was able to see through the top corner, and he was more whiny. I don't have the front covered, so I can see him on the camera. But if I was gonna leave, I would cover the front as well. I'd actually only leave one part open, the back, for ventilation. That's it. But this setup has worked for him thus far. He didn't even stand up. He will. It's because I gotta push this back. There we go. So he's laying down, but I think we can all agree, even though he's laying down, he's not calm, right? So he knows what I want and he's trying, but I need to work the brain before we actually go to the next step. So I'll show you what that looks like. So stand, wait. I face him directly and I just pause for a second. No, I don't usually use e-collar with this unless it's really, really tough. He just will not settle. In the beginning we did, but not anymore. Just for the leash up. So, and I'm just gonna wait a second. It's just to help him settle a second between each stage. You can always do a little tester. You can do 2 inches, and if the dog pushes through, you go no. And you shut it on, especially on an adult dog, unless your dog is really sensitive, you do it kind of firmly. See, like the noise kind of makes him like kind of go back a bit and settle. That's because this is spatial pressure. This is body language. This is something they understand very clearly. Just like we do, honestly. Then I pause again. The big thing is the squat down. If you squat down or bend over, they get real excited. And, that's okay, like just wait a second.
Now, I'll be honest, I don't like reaching deep into a crate to put on e-collar and leash in the mornings. And so I don't mind if the dog comes, like stands up and kind of comes to the front and I get all of their stuff on. If I feel like this is getting too pushy, I can just step in a little bit, see? Or I can use the door, there we go, just to get him back a bit if I need to. I'm not pulling him forward, by the way. He is sticking his head out. So if I just thought it got to be too much, you know, I can let, okay, just a little spatial pressure. Now I'm gonna stand up. I like to wait the dog out, but in the beginning, that might be too hard for the dog. So you could just get an SIT, or you could do a little leash pressure. I like to use the e-collar like my leash pressure because it helps the dog do more work. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm at a 4. I'm just gonna hold down, off the button, good. The tail's not even, see he's waiting for his verbal. The tail's not even going, but you can tell he's still excited and focused. See, I like that yawn, let him calm down. It's a calming cue. It shows you that the body's processing emotion. Now, when I give him the go ahead, he is going to bolt out. He likes to come out, even if I do all this, he likes to come out and jump on me. And so if he does that, I'll show you what that looks like. But I know he'll at least run out quickly and we'll turn around and do it again till he calmly walks out. Because I want to reward the state of mind I want, so I can't continue to walk with him if he leaps out excitedly. Really calm, let's go. That was actually pretty nice. That wasn't too bad. He says he's finally getting the hang of all this. Now I don't want him to bolt in either, because all of that is him, you know, anticipating what I'm gonna say, like he's an autopilot. So I'll just use a little pressure. He has to stay with me. Face an open door. Crate. Good. Then I'm going to move to the side and pause. So he has to look out and just wait for a second. Let's go. Very nice. He's excited to go out. That's what you're seeing. Shh, shh, shh. So I'm just doing a little leash pressure up in the air to settle him. And I wait a second before I give the next command. Great. So you saw that? So as soon as I said crate, which was really low, I went ahead and started to move, and he stepped out because he hadn't fully settled yet. So he hasn't even, you know, committed to settling. And so my movement caused him to think he could come back out, because dogs follow feet. So it takes a lot of time, you know, to be able to do that and the dog not trip up. Because I want him to wait for the verbal. But what a dog does first and foremost is follow feet. So if I want him to be still, I freeze and face him. And he's not settling, so I'm gonna hold down at a 4, off the button. Only because he has crate anxiety, I don't like this. So otherwise I wouldn't care, but he has crate anxiety, it's really bad. So 4, hold down, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. That took some time. Another yawn. I'm looking at his back hips. They're not quite in pounce mode, but they're not totally relaxed either. So it's kind of like the difference, you know, watch your body language. It's kind of the difference between like, let's go, crate, and then you move back, and oh, good job. So now, you know, he did it that time, it was no problem. But if your dog is struggling, you need to watch your body language. So it's like, let's go, crate, don't move your feet, unless you're just gonna stand right in front of him. Pause, that works. He settles down with that. Now move and pause, then say, let's go. So if your dog's not struggling, you don't have to worry about that so much. I don't want you to have to always be concerned about the movement, because even if I'm in public and he's anxious and I'm shifting my feet, that is stimulating him. So it's like, you want to be steady as a rock, because that's what they need from you. And so anyway, just keep that in mind about your feet moving. If you want your dog to be calm, your feet need to freeze facing him. Then when he settles, relax, but still don't be shifty with your feet too much if you want your dog to be settled. So you do that till your dog improves. And then as your dog improves, you can be more lax about it, and you can even use movement to proof what you've taught, right? I can be like, let's go, crate, and move back right away. Good job. See, but now, see his little print, you saw his foot dance? That's because of my movement. Now, I don't want to do that with crate. I want crate to be calm. Now, because of his crate anxiety, we don't do any of that. And here I held down the button at a 6, and he didn't commit. And he always commits. Like, it took him a second. That's because of the excitement I built with fast movement. So I can't do that with dogs with crate anxiety. There's just no reason to. You want to help them. It's your only goal, is to help them be calmer with crate. So keep that in mind. So a different dog, I would do some fun proofing, but with him, nope, just calm and controlled. Now, what I'm doing right here, you can tell I sped it up, and it was just too much to get into it. But his leash is a really big trigger, and so is closing the crate and opening the crate. So I would just practice 5 times in a row, opening it, picking up leash, dropping it, closing it. And when he would pop up, it would be a no. Just to desensitize, to create clarity about the crate, what I expect from the dog from the crate. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't really have any issues. Look how much more jittery he is. He's about to jump. Shh, shh, shh. The leash really has him. Shh, shh, shh. So closing the crate. So what does that tell me? So without any coaching, so you truly get a feel for what it's like to be in the room. I'm going to show you just a few reps of calm patterning to bring him back down before we move on. Let's go. Shh, shh, shh. All right, this is the next place. He gets very excited, even if he holds it together, and does great from the crate to here. When we do the pause at the door, that's always hard for him too. Okay, no. So just a little leg block. I did do an Ecollar tap matched with it. I was at a 7.
And if I felt like he was just gonna just go crazy, we pattern this. Let's go. I just turn a circle, okay? Same thing again. He's problem solving. He thinks I want a down, but it's not about the down. It's about the brain, which comes through repetition. Good, but that is a much better body language. Not about the down. Well, let's see if he bolts out on me. Let's go. Nice. But see, I did even this tight space. See that? I'm gonna really work this moment. Let's go. If I've got the time. He's like, why are we going back in again? I did good. But he still pushed through. Hey, no. So I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna go to a 15. The opening of the door again is a big part of it. And now I'm gonna block that area and tap at the same time if he pushes me. Let's go. No? Good. Now you think I'm done, and I could be done. But if I really, really want my dog to learn how to be calm, I want to do this moment until I don't have to do blocking or anything, and he just stays behind me like he's supposed to. Notice I don't even care about the SIT at this point. I'm just looking at the brain. So open the door. Let's go. Look at that. When you're doing this at home, if you're always using leash or body language, whether it's guidance or a correction, that becomes the new normal. You guys need to do this until the new normal is the dog feeling what it feels like to do it well without needing that guidance, okay? And sometimes we have to rework that hallway you saw several times. We use that hallway a lot. Dogs push through. So just remember that. That's what matters. And I know this seems daunting and like a lot of work, but if you make this the new normal, an extra 10 to 15 minutes every time you get your dog out of crate or out of a room, I'm telling you, 5 to 7 days, and it becomes the new normal. You just reinforce it occasionally, and you just make the boundaries new lifestyle, and it's easy and faster. Now, for dogs with legit anxiety or crate anxiety, like Saint here, it's going to take a few weeks, definitely, but then it does get easier. See how he's up? Good. So just turning and facing him, settled. Let's go. Great. Good. You're out. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Shh. Let's go. Okay. job.